Hello, this is Larry Bodine Live, where we interview Democratic Precinct Committee people and volunteers who are actively campaigning. And today we have with us Mary Alice Theroux. How are you doing today, Mary Alice?
I'm fine, thanks, Larry. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for being on the show. So I understand that you're a precinct committee person on the west side of Tucson near Flowing Wells Park. And in your efforts, that things took a little turning point when somebody put up a flag in your neighborhood.
Yeah, just recently, one of my neighbors that, I like, and I think they like me, put up a Trump flag. I didn't think much about it. This is America and a democracy, and people have a right to do that.
Yep.
It did cross my mind, I don't understand why they're supporting him because they're both sick. But, well, okay. So about 3 weeks later, neighbors started coming to me upset saying, Mary Alice, rumor here is that they put the Trump flag up thinking it would piss you off because they knew I was the precinct committee woman for the Democrats. And I go, well, gee, they didn't bother me with it. Made the neighbors mad, a lot of the neighbors mad. And so they asked me what they could do to help. So I said, well, why don't you just donate stamps so we can do mailings in this area? So I got over 600 stamps donated. And then I did get 2 volunteers to write postcards and to do those kind of things.
Wow.
That's what happened. But I did also make a point of thanking the neighbor and telling him how he helped me to do my own campaign for the Democrats because it didn't upset me, but it upset some of the other neighbors. So
that's great. What a great story. I wanted to find out when you first got active in Democratic politics. And I think you told me it had something to do in 2011 when the Republicans started for 63 times to repeal Obamacare. Why did that get you started?
And my husband had come back from Vietnam and had open heart surgery within a short few years after returning from Vietnam. He was only 33 when he had the open heart surgery. And we both had good jobs, so we carried double insurance because of pre-existing conditions. And at times we paid $1,000 a month to make sure we had double insurance in case he was laid off. He worked for the airline. And when Obamacare was passed, which is the Affordable Care Act that they like to call Obamacare, and I love the fact that they call it Obamacare.
Yeah, me too.
And when the Republicans first ganged up on him to try to make him, signed a pledge actually, to make him a one-term president, it really irritated me before he'd even started doing anything. And then they tried 63 times, like you said, to overturn this. I had years and years of experience with pre-existing conditions in my family, as well as being a property and casualty insurance agent and talking to people. I knew what pre-existing conditions was. So when they tried that, it made me mad. And so I started hounding McCain with emails every other week. And my emails to McCain were more pointed to the fact that my husband served in Vietnam and he served to defend this country, and we should have the same right as everybody else to buy health insurance at the same rate as everybody else does, even though we have a pre-existing condition. My son happened to be at Mayo at the same time John McCain was at Mayo, but I do know that he got his earful at Mayo about families and people with cancer with pre-existing conditions, and now he's one of us. So then that's when I believe that he made the turn and did the thumbs down on the floor that saved the pre-existing conditions in Obamacare.
That's great. I always remember the thumbs down. It was in a 2017 vote. So then I understand that when Trump was elected, you started working as a precinct committee person, and you were initially reluctant to campaign. And what did you tell yourself?
The area that I'm working is a different area than the background I came from. And so I was a little reluctant to get out. I finally said to myself, Mary Alice, you've never been afraid of anything. Get your butt out there and do it. So I did. I got myself out there. No experience in campaigning. I had by that time joined with the Pima County Democrats, was getting training and instructions and things like that. I just didn't go rogue out on my own. I really believe in teamwork. I think that everything I know, I learned from somebody else. Anyway, that's how I got started.
Good for you for doing all the hard work and getting yourself out there. You know, I understand flowing wells is an area where there's food disparity and housing disparity. So why are you campaigning? What motivates you?
Well, I did the census in 2010 in this area, another time that I had to tell myself to get out there and do it because my husband had passed away, and I thought that would be a good thing to do. So I got out there and did the census, and I met the people in the area. The people were kind, and they were generous, and it was hot. A large majority of them are Hispanics, and I found out that they were just lovely people and kind people, and they, like I said, they gave me bottles of water and treated me really well. I fell in love with the people in the area. My feeling is if we improve this area where they have the food disparities and the income disparities and the housing disparities, then we improve the whole community, the whole city, the whole county.
Absolutely. So in closing, Mary Alice, what would you say to people who are thinking about becoming active in the 2020 election?
I would say that don't be afraid. There's always something that you can do, from writing postcards to addressing handwritten envelopes, writing personal notes to go in the envelopes. If you're not brave enough to do phone calls or to knock doors, there's still work that can be done that you can do. So I would say don't be intimidated by maybe a Republican neighbor or others that you might think that won't like you because you're out there campaigning for Democrats. It really doesn't matter to me whether people love me or not. I have issues that I want to see go forward, and I'm going to work for those issues. I plow through, and I think it's the best way to change what's happening in this country is to by change who's in charge.
Mary Alice, it's absolutely great to feel that I'm on the same team as you, and I want to commend you for all your efforts and wish you all the best. And thanks for appearing on Larry Bodine Live, and for everybody who's watching, you can catch the next episode right here. So, Mary Alice, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.